Well, hello, everybody. While we're waiting for Patty Greer and Chris Burres, this is Alfred Leonard Weber, and we are streaming live for C60Evo.com, ESS60, antioxidant, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C and D, an immune boost, anti-agent, antiviral, recommended for a pandemic prophylaxis, and you can access it now by clicking on the code here. And if you use the coupon code EVALW, you will obtain a 10% off of your purchase with discounts of 20% on subscriptions and Exopolitics, and you will get discounts of 20% on subscriptions, and ExopoliticsTV will receive 15% of your purchase. So that's great. And now Chris Burres and Patty Greer and I normally discuss and so I'm going to discuss the antioxidant properties of C60 EVO ESS, 172 times more powerful than vitamin C or D, as well as a prophylaxis against HIV infection. And this suggests that C60 EVO ESS may be an effective prophylaxis against the COVID-19 coronavirus. Other positive properties of C60 EVO may include anti-aging, immune boosting, antiviral, and increased mental concentration. Chris Burres, the founder and scientist at C60Evo.com, and Patty Greer, a C60Evo CEO, introduced C60 ESS60, an evolution of C60 that received the Nobel Prize in Science in 1996. And C60 is a mega oxidant anti-aging molecule that is changing the way people live for the better. Now you can buy the highest quality C60 on the market direct from source with a guarantee of high purity. I just want to check to see that we don't have any. No, everything is fine there. I don't know what's holding them up, but we're continuing here with a guarantee. And Max Monroe is here. And M. Lord says, I want to try C60. Max Monroe says, love your hair, Alfred. C60 is a mega oxidant anti-aging molecule that is changing the way people live for the better. Now you can buy the highest quality C60 on the market direct from the source with a guarantee of high purity, 100% C60 ESS, a new elite brand from the original C60 company that has been manufacturing carbon 60 for the world for the past 28 years. Chris is a mechanical engineer turned scientist turned entrepreneur using Nobel Prize winning chemistry tested by NASA that was shown to double the lifespan of animals. And I'm just going to take a moment here and resend the thing to them. Let me resend it. Let me put that on. Resending. Okay. Let me put that on. And there we go. So there we go. Just resent it. And Chris is a mechanical engineer turned scientist turned entrepreneur using Nobel Prize-winning chemistry tested by NASA that was shown to double the lifespan of mammals. Chris went on a mission to make C60 a household name years ago. C60 has proved itself to help people feel healthier, live longer, and pain-free lives. His parent company, SES, has produced most of the raw C60 sold in America since 1991. And today, with C60Evo and ESS60, the secret is out in this fast-moving ExopoliticsTV interview. Co-owner scientists Chris Burres and Robert Wong invented the only reactor machine of its kind to produce carbon-60, ESS60, and other carbon molecules while they were in college. And a statement from C60Evo says, quote, "The demand and awareness has grown exponentially in the last few years because it works." The evolution of C60 had to happen where a new standard was set to guarantee purity and quality to consumers. C60Evo sells direct to the public, now with a guarantee that it is safe, C60 for human consumption. Their manufacturing process is exceptional and done in a certified clean lab. Their C60 goes through a vacuum oven dry and wash process. They test batch regularly for purity and suspension to guarantee the bottles offer you what they claim. This is rare in the C60 world. At C60Evo, they spin the raw ESS60 powder and organic oil for 3 weeks in large kettle. These mixing machines are airtight and without any oxidation or sonification. Once again, this is rare in the C60 world. Chris Burres is doing it right. And so, yeah, I've been using it for a number of years. I haven't had any negative effects. As I understand it, Shani Stuff as is C60 bad for people who have graphene oxide jabs in them. And as I understand it, I've heard some scientists say that C60 actually counteracts the effect of the graphene oxide jab in you and counteracts the spike protein jab in you. So it's a counteractive effect. as I understand it, you don't have to buy other things with the drops. You can buy the C60 by itself. You get extra extra savings by buying together, but you don't have to buy them, totally at one shot. That's my understanding. So we'll see if there are a couple of videos here that I can share. I know that I went there and looked at that issue, and let me see if I have a couple of videos here that I can share on that issue. Let me put that issue up here, and that might just let me put C60 videos. Yeah, put up USA videos. C60 videos. UFO activators. C60Evo. Okay, so let me see what there is here. Okay, so here is the C60 ESS60 is not connected to the graphene bots. Let me connect to this particular video and see what we can do. Let me do this down, C60. Let me bring this thing in.
Hi, I'm Patty Greer, one of the proud owners of C60Evo, the evolution of the carbon-60 molecule. I would like to introduce my fabulous partners, Chris Burres.
Hello.
And Robert Wong, who we hide in the lab most of the time. What we want to do is clarify some terminology that people are confused with, such as myself. That's why we have Robert and Chris here. People are concerned with C60 because they don't understand a molecule specifically going in the body to do improvements is a word we can use. What people are worried about is the word nano. It's like, what does that mean? A bot, some kind of AI connection? And C60 has nothing to do with that. We are innocent of all charges. People are concerned about nanotubes, like, what does that mean? And I can't answer it, but these guys can. So if you would clarify to start with those two terms and other things you have heard that people are scared about with C60, that would be great.
Absolutely. So Robert, we did a couple videos and Robert was talking about the production process for carbon-60 and ultimately ESS60, that carbon-60 that's safe for human consumption. So go back and check out those videos. And the concern is, yeah, hey, maybe it's a bot that can be put in your body, or maybe it's some sort of communication device that can be put in your body. And what's really important to understand is that ESS60 is made of 60 carbon atoms, the fundamental building block of all matter, 60 of them, just 60 carbon atoms. And currently across the globe, scientists get really excited when they can move one atom from one place to another. And so they'll move an atom and they'll write out the name, like IBM is one of them, where they've spelled out IBM in atoms. And this is an incredibly big deal because we have a very hard time moving individual atoms. in the case of ESS60, it's only 60 carbon atoms. You really can't do anything with 60 carbon atoms. You certainly can't make a bot. There's no way to have some sort of communication through a 60 carbon atom molecule. So it's really, you're dealing in a land that okay, great. It looks, because it looks like a soccer ball molecule, it looks like it could do something, but really all it can do is kind of what we believe is it can interact with your body and do beneficial things. What it cannot do is be some sort of antenna or be some sort of robot.
Fear, fear, fear. And what are nanotubes? They have nothing to do with C60, right?
Nanotubes was discovered by accident when they were made, when they were making carbon fullerenes with graphite rods. And I guess 1992, 1993, Dr. Ojima of NEC in Japan discovered some amorphous carbon that had nanotubes in it. And he went crazy about this. And he presented at one of the conferences. But what carbon nanotube is a little bitty nano-sized tube, a straw of carbon. If you take a graphite sheet and you roll this graphite sheet into a tube, that will be a nanotube. And there's multiple different kind of nanotubes, multi-wall, single-wall nanotubes, different chiralities. I think I just said it wrong, but all different properties of nanotubes. And there's a whole science in nanotubes. So there are departments who all they do is study nanotubes. And there's a lot of interesting things with nanotubes. We do sell nanotubes. We don't sell too much nanotubes because there's a lot of specialized companies that manufacture nanotubes and sell it. So we want to focus on our carbon 60, our ES60. So that's what we focus on.
And to just like be aware of the difference between ESS60, the spherical carbon molecule, and nanotubes, I can just flat out say I would not consume nanotubes in any shape or form. There is no research on them, on efficacy or if they're safe or whatever they may do. So don't do that. I will also throw in, don't consume nano onions. There are companies that we're aware out there selling nano onions. So that's basically an ESS60 molecule, except it's got multiple larger molecules around it, and those molecules are cut in half, and so you see like these layers of a bucky material. There's no research on those. Incredibly dangerous to be putting those things in your body, as opposed to ESS60, which has lots of research showing how safe it is.
Yeah, well, years ago, I remember the EPA or some government entity came to visit us at one point, and I was asking questions about nanotubes, and because nanotubes can be something very similar to asbestos because it's little miniature fibers, microfibers. So they came and asked us questions, and we basically told them, we don't really work with nanotubes. If we did, we could help you out, but your visit to us was in vain because we don't work in carbon nanotube field that much.
So the beginning of the two of you working together, you were in college, and your college professor let you know that C60 is more valuable than gold per ounce. How did you guys go from learning that to creating the Star Wars machine that I saw at the lab?
That's a good question. So going back a year, so I worked at the Texas Center for Superconductivity, and my professor wanted us to get his hands on carbon 60. And at that time, the really only place to get carbon 60 was from Rice University, where it was discovered at. And so he sent us over there to talk to Richard Smalley. Richard Smalley told us to talk to his grad students. So we ended up talking to his grad students on about carbon 60. We ended up purchasing some of the carbon 60 from their lab.
By the way, just to jump in here, Richard Smalley is one of the guys who won the Nobel Prize for discovering buckyballs.
Yep. So, but anyhow, So, make a long story short, I was processing the raw fullerene materials due to chromatography separation, and at some point, I thought, wait, 1 gram sold for $6,000, and I was like, I know how to do this and how to make it, and so I started formulating plans to build a business off this. And a few days later, our professor at University of Houston came and talked to us. Hey, a couple of young guys, like, you start a business. I go, okay. So he gave us our full support and backing. And early on, they wanted us to be on campus. So we wrote our business plan with help at the university, at the physics department, and we presented it to the University of Houston Board of Regents, and they decided that they don't want a independent commercial business on campus, which worked out best for us. You know, I'm sure after the first explosion, they probably would kick us out anyhow. But so, you know, off we went. You know, me and Chris designed our first reactor. I built it in my dad's garage, and you know, built it, and we transported it to our first facility, and you know, plugged it up, and it was like Frankenstein. You know, we had sparks flying and things going all different directions, and you know, we didn't know what we were doing at first. We had a couple of young guys, you know, straight out of college, but you know, over the years, we figured out how to do it and do it right, and grow the business. And now we're here helping people around the world with their you know, health. And so we have started a business as a feedstock supplier of carbon fullerenes to other people who do research and manufacture. And now we're here on the way and the other end dealing with individual people and changing their lives for the better. And it's really fulfilling for us in that sense. You know, we never thought we'd be in this field, but you know, things change.
And I'm going to add, because we've visited lots of manufacturing facilities around the world, that reactor that Robert and I built in those early days is still the most efficient reactor on the planet.
Wow. And what was your part? Were you a mechanical engineer?
Yeah, I was studying mechanical engineering. Robert and I were in the same physics class together, and he really approached me. He didn't mention this and appreciate it. He actually had a different business partner when he started, and they needed some help with drawings. They needed some help with like labor and, you know, all that good stuff. And so they kind of brought me on. I was supposed to do some drawings and kind of go away. The other business partner, good friend of ours, we still know him, speak with him. He went on to do different things, and I stuck around, and Robert and I have been working together for more than 30 years now.
And then the wild girl showed up and said, let's do this. Well, I think that it's been the magical trio for sure. And we are servicing so many people in so many countries now with this amazing product. And, you know, I just came onto it because I was in pain, a lot of pain, and it has changed my life. So when I went looking to invest in where do I want to make C60, who can I do this with? Lucky me, I'm with the original guys that invented the reactor 30 years ago, which is still the best reactor in the world. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Robert. And everybody that's interested, you definitely want to give this a try. Even a small 4-ounce bottle to begin. You might be surprised at how much better you can feel and sleep. Our website is C60Evo, like evolution, C60EVO.com. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That was Patty Greer, and two of the scientists that founded Carbon 60. It was a fullerene, and of course, ExopoliticsTV, we met with Buckminster Fuller at the University of Cincinnati in the 1970s as part of the World Good News Network. So that with C60 as a superfood, bringing you the good news. And thank you for all of you in the chat for joining us. And we'll see you all again in the future. Thank you so much.